Your homework is to memorize this and write it 15 times.
Welcome to the coolest, hippest half hour of fun on TV. This is Brain Stew with Jennifer Pulley.
This week, Brain Stew meets an animal behaviorist. A what? And discovers how animals like seals, otters, and dolphins are trained to perform certain behaviors. How do they do that? Plus, we'll meet Norton, a harbor seal, who's trained for specific behaviors, not tricks. All that, plus much more on this week's show. Hey, stay where you are. Brain Stew is next. Hey you guys, welcome to Brain Stew. My name is Jennifer Pulley and I'm your host, your educator, your mentor, but I'm not your mother. Say, have you ever seen animals do amazing things? I'm talking things that animals don't normally do. Malibu, lay down. Good boy. Did you see that? When I asked Malibu to lay down, he laid down. Ha! That's amazing. Well, let's get real. We all know that Malibu didn't lie down because I said, lie down. Okay, I trained him to do that.
How do you train him to do that?
Well, I'll tell you later on in the show. Okay, so big deal, okay? I can train my cat, right? People train their dogs, right? No big deal. I mean, they can train them to sit, they can train them to fetch. What's the big deal? Hey, you guys, come on over. You want to be on Brain Stew? Come on.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, just take a seat, lay down.
Yeah.
Make yourself comfortable. Ah, yes, lick that. So animals are amazing, but did you know this? You can train animals, but did you know that people can train other people to do things?
Really?
Sure, people can train other people and people can train animals by something called positive reinforcement and negative reinforcement.
What?
Let's see. Oh, I know one you can relate to. If you do really well in school, you get positive reinforcement when you get your awesome report card. Cool, man, honor roll. You are being trained by your parents and your teachers to do well in school. They're training you using positive reinforcement. Good report card, that's positive reinforcement. Got it?
Oh yeah, I got it.
Hey, get this though. Your parents and your teachers, they are also being trained. Yeah, they are. If they do well in their job, they get, ta-da, a paycheck. That's positive reinforcement, baby. This paycheck rewards them. Hey man, whose paycheck is this? Can I cash this? Of course, animals like seals here don't get paychecks and they don't get report cards. So, how do animal trainers teach animals like these seals here to jump in the air and to perform behaviors?
I have no idea.
Gosh, you know, I don't know. How do they do that? You know, I'd also love to know what it's like to work with animals like seals and otters. I bet it's not your normal 9-to-5 office job. Today, Brain Stew is behind the scenes at the Virginia Marine Science Museum in Virginia Beach, Virginia. We're gonna learn all about...
Good, Jennifer, good job.
Behavioral training, or how humans can train certain animals to perform in ways that are helpful to both the animals themselves and the people that take care of them. Let's go meet Chip. Guys, meet Chip. He's the curator of mammals at the Virginia Marine Science Museum and an animal behaviorist.
What's that?
Well, an animal behaviorist is somebody that knows about animals. They know about the natural behavior of the animals. They know about the behavior of the animals that live within the facility here. Basically, it's our job to care for the animals, to feed them, to work with them behaviorally, in other words, to teach and train them here. Basically, to know the animals inside and out so that we can give them the best possible care at a facility like the Marine Science Museum.
Chip, that sounds like a great job, training animals.
What does training mean?
Well, that's a great question, and it's a one that people often confuse, but it's a very simple answer. Training is teaching. Quite simply, training is teaching.
So you're teaching or training animals.
Right. We
Same
teach
deal.
the animals to live within this facility. They're not out in the wild. They've been living here for about 3 years, and we had to teach them how to live here. This is Norton, and Norton is one of our older, more experienced harbor seals. And keep in mind, harbor seals, they're native to this area in the winter months. We get them right off the Virginia coast here, but typically you find them off of New England and up into Canada.
Oh, time out. Wait a minute, Chip. You mean to tell me that you had to teach Norton, the harbor seal, how to live here?
Doesn't Norton already know how to be a harbor seal?
Absolutely. Norton is definitely a harbor seal. And Norton, for the most part, knows how to be a harbor seal. However, every facility is different.
Hey, look out.
And for example, in this facility, we might do things differently than where he came from, up in Connecticut. So we have to teach him how to live here. One of the things that we might teach him how to do is to cooperate with us in veterinarian care. He's a big, strong animal. What if we need to take his weight? Well, we just ask him to sit on a scale, or look in his mouth, to look at his teeth, tongue, and the back of his throat. We've taught him to open his mouth for us. And we can even take a blood sample from Norton and the rest of the gang here.
Yeah, I guess it'd be kind of hard to and lift him up, huh?
Yeah, it can cause lots of back problems. But basically, we have to teach all of our animals here how to live in their particular facilities. That includes all of the animals at this facility.
Why do animal trainers need to teach animals certain behaviors? I know, so they can do tricks, and I can be entertained.
Well, not exactly. Tricks are for kids. Come on. Actually, in the behavioral world, with professional animal trainers, we typically think of tricks as for kids, for magicians, and circus acts. And that's not really what we do here. We really call them behaviors. And there are really three primary reasons why we train or teach the animals here. We train them for mental stimulation. We all need that. We all need to be stimulated.
Mental, yes.
Exactly. We read books, we watch TV, we watch Brains Do, things like that. Physical exercise is important. These guys, they need that as well. It's important for them to move, to work, and in the training process, we can incorporate that. We can get them moving, and that's important too. So we have mental stimulation, physical exercise, but the most important reason why we train is for what we call cooperative medical husbandry.
Cooperative what?
Or simply husbandry. And that basically means animal care. And that simply means teaching the animals to allow us to care for them in the medical process without having to restrain them or to sedate them. So it's a very important process, cooperative husbandry. They cooperate with us.
So those are the three main reasons then. So you want to make sure that they're stimulated, they're using their brain,
right.
Okay? They're using their bodies
Exactly.
and getting physical exercise, and then also to help them help you care for them.
Exactly. It makes life easier for all of us.
Okay, Chip, so tell me if I've got it. Like my cat, Malibu, when he gets sick, I just kind of pick him up, put him in his pet carrier, and take him to the vet. When these guys get sick, what do you do?
Well, we can't really pick up a 300-pound salami, basically. They're kind of like a wet noodle. But again, that's back to being a behavioralist, being a trainer. One of the reasons why we work with them so closely is because if we see something that indicates they're not acting right, some of the behaviors that we do, maybe they're not responsive, maybe they're not interested in working with us, maybe they're not eating, well, then maybe we have to do something different. We have to react. Maybe we work with our vet at that point and we assess the problem. Training is not a series of robotic behaviors that we teach them and make them do. We make it a game for all of the animals that we work with behaviorally. We make it fun, it's very positive. They seem to enjoy it, and in some cases I've worked with animals where we excluded them from training and they've butted right into the training.
Sound like children.
Hey Jen, we've talked a lot about the seals today. How'd you like to meet a seal, and how'd you like to see some training?
Oh, you bet. I would love that, Chip. Hey, you guys, don't go away. Up next, we continue chatting with Chip. Plus, we'll witness some more animal training. Get some mental stimulation and try this brain strain. Stay on the couch. Stay. Good. Stop touching me. Get off of me.
I mean it.
Hey, I got no friends. Where's my friends at? Hey, give me a kissy. Oh, well, maybe I have one friend. Bye.
Hey, you guys, we're back. Chip and the other trainers here at the Virginia Marine Science Museum are inside meeting, talking about animal training and animal behaviors. Let's go inside and see what they're doing.
Jen, before we do any type of training session, typically what we do is we gather as a group and we review what happened at the previous session. What that does is that allows the trainers who maybe were off the day before or the previous session to be caught up to speed as to behaviorally how the animals are. And it helps us to anticipate any concerns or issues that we need to do with. All right, guys, I wasn't here at yesterday's afternoon session, so let's go around in a circle and see how the individuals did. Let's start with Peter. Cecilia, how was Peter yesterday?
I station kept both Peter and Piper yesterday.
Okay.
I kept it pretty simple, and overall they were both really good. Really focused on me, and in particular Piper was a lot more focused on me than he has been in the recent past.
Okay.
It was a good, easy session.
How about Norton?
I did Norton and Pongo in the afternoon.
Okay.
Out there, and they were both good. They came right to the station. Target.
Chip, what's that big thing right there that she's using?
That is called a target, and a target is essentially an extension of our hand. And what that means is it allows us to extend out to the animals and to teach them to touch that buoy on the end of the target. And basically we play a follow the leader game. They lock onto that target, and you saw Norton follow the target right up here.
Yeah, she said target. And
Yep.
then, yeah.
We can take him on and off exhibit. For example, when we had Hurricane Bonnie recently,
Yeah.
we actually just call all the animals out, they lock onto that target, and they follow the trainers in one at a time. It's like the Pied Piper leading everybody in. Into the holding area they go. They're safe from storms, and we can do a lot of training and a lot of interesting things utilizing the target.
What does he feel like?
Basically, he feels like a wet dog. You want to touch him?
Oh, gosh.
He's a pretty laid-back guy.
And he's hungry?
Yep, he's hungry. And so he's a great representation of some of the animals that can show up off of the Virginia coastline, particularly in the winter.
How much does he weigh?
He is about probably 190 pounds, maybe close to 200 pounds. And a full-grown adult fat harbor seal, beefing up for the wintertime in the cold water, they can get close to 300 pounds.
Well, now I noticed she keeps saying good. So I mean that's a word that we use a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Good basically tells Norton that he's done a good job with the behavior she's asked of him, such as targeting. It tells him to stop what you're doing. Great job. We're about to give you a reinforcement. Sometimes we give him a fish. Sometimes we give them verbal praise, we clap, and we give them hugs and affection and petting just like this. Sure, but it just tells them, great job, reinforcements on the way.
Is that a whistle?
We call it a whistle bridge, and when they blow the whistle, it tells the seals or any of the other animals that we work with the same thing. It tells them good. It's basically a way that it frees up our hands. We can keep this bridge in our mouth, and when we see that the animal has done something properly, we can blow the whistle really quickly, and it tells them, good job, instantly. And we immediately follow it with that reinforcement.
Okay, so that's obviously positive reinforcement.
Absolutely. We
Exactly.
train with what we call positive reinforcement. We make this training a game. We make it fun. And there's a great example of that cooperative husbandry I told you about. She's
Yeah.
looking in his mouth, at his teeth, his tongue, the back of his throat, just like your doctor or your dentist might look in your mouth. It's just one of the many things that we do to take better care of the animals here. Matter of fact, back here is the place where we might take a blood sample from a harbor seal. Right along in this area here is a large vein, just like in your arm, where your doctor takes your blood sample from.
Yeah.
What we do is we teach him to hold onto that target, and we find the location of the vein, and we can put the needle right down inside of there, and he sits just like this. You can see I'm pushing pretty hard here.
Yeah, and it's not.
No, he's got a big fat blubber layer there. He doesn't feel a whole lot. They can tolerate a lot. And that's a great way that we can take care of him without having to hold him down. And you can see he's pretty big. It'd be tough
Yeah.
to pick this guy up or to hold him down.
How do you increase Norton's mental stimulation or brain power?
Norton can do a number of different behaviors. One of them might be waving.
Wave.
Now that type of behavior, although it's silly looking and the public likes to see that, actually it's a natural behavior. You might notice the large claws on Norton's flipper right there.
Yeah.
Norton, touch. See those claws right there? Those are pretty big, and they actually use those defensively. He can actually use those to scratch at predators or to climb up on rockwork. They're really important, and that waving motion, actually we've seen that when they defend themselves against other harbor seals or even sharks, things like that. So that's actually a natural behavior.
So the waving, it's waving to us, but to him this is a natural
Sure,
behavior.
sure. As a matter of fact, we trained that behavior by simply watching him do it. Then we blew the whistle and gave him a fish.
And rewarded him.
Right, and over a period of time, he quickly learned that when he saw us, he would start to wave, anticipating the whistle blowing and getting a fish. And then after a period of time, he would do that over and over again, and we incorporated a hand signal into that behavior. We just started to say, Norton, wave, as he was doing it, and he learned that every time that we did that, he would wave.
What does Norton do for exercise?
We can't put a guy like this on a treadmill, but we can get him to move around. Margot can ask him to go into the water and swim, and there's quite a bit of exercise involved in lugging this body up the rockwork. Margot, why don't you ask him to swim and then call him back up?
Norton, swim. Good boy. Good job. Good
Now watch those claws work when he comes back up the rock work. And it takes a lot of effort.
Norton, see. Good. Good boy.
Strong little fella.
Good job.
There's a lot of exercise in lugging that body up the rock work. And we do a number of other things too, but primarily, the main reason that we train is to allow us to care for them. That's the most important thing. Matter of fact, if you looked over to my right, there's a seal over there. There's a seal over here named Pongo. And Pongo can do some neat things too.
I got about 20.
Now, if you listen closely, listen to the vocalization of a harbor seal.
I overestimated, I'm sorry.
Well, excuse you.
Not bad.
That's like we teach our dogs to speak.
Right.
But you teach, oh, wow.
One day he'll have a career in opera singing.
No, I wouldn't count on it,
He's
Chip.
a pretty talented guy. And actually, he is one of our more, I guess, aerial animals, and that he can actually come up out of the water.
Really?
If you watch out, kind of in the center of the pool over where Krista is, watch the end of the buoy target. He's got to see the target.
And how much does he weigh?
It takes a lot of strength. That animal right there weighs almost 200 pounds. So to lift that body out of the water, he really had to get his hind flippers moving.
Wow. And now, so you've got Pongo.
Right, you've got Pongo.
Norton.
We have Norton.
Oh, sorry, honey.
Over to the left, we have Piper, who's closest to us.
Piper here.
Right, and you can see Cecilia with Peter's mouth open. Again, looking at the inside of his mouth.
And they all know the same behaviors.
Yeah, pretty much.
For the most part.
Sure.
Is that a burp?
All right, we have Jen, the trainer here. She's got Norton on a target. And when I blow the whistle, she's going to take the target away, and she's going to hand him a fish. You want to give Jen the fish?
Positive
ready?
reinforcement,
That's
right?
Here we go. Okay. There you go.
Oh,
What a
yay.
gentleman. Do you want to give him another fish?
Oh, you think he's hungry?
Sure, you keep the target away and just kind of reach over towards him. Norton. Cycling.
Good boy.
All right, you might want to come a little bit closer. Actually, I think that's because there's so
And he
many
does
people.
the
There you go.
target. Oh, that's
Pull
so
him
neat.
towards you with the target.
And so you can,
There you go.
oh gosh, that's
Okay,
so
now
neat.
bring the target so he faces you. All right, I'm gonna bridge and then give him a fish. Margaret has a fish right. Okay.
Oh.
All right.
Well, I've got to thank Peter, Piper, Pongo, Foca, Norton, Chip, and the whole staff here at the Virginia Marine Science Museum. Thanks, you guys. I had a blast.
It's our pleasure, and the SEALs, I think they had a great time too.
I hope so. Don't go away. Up next, we trained our wacky librarians to give us some more information on animals and animal behavior. Plus, you got to see this week's experiment. It's awesome. Hey, try this brain strain while you're waiting.
How do seals like Norton keep so warm when it's cold outside? Let's find out. Here's what you need for this week's experiment. A plastic cup, 2 thermometers, and a container of shortening. And you need a clock and a freezer. Here's the procedure. Step 1, place the thermometer into the plastic cup. Step 2, place the other thermometer into the container or shortening and make sure it's in the center. Step 3, read and record the temperature on each thermometer. Step 4, place both thermometers in the freezer and shut the door. Step 5, read and record the temperature on each thermometer after 15 minutes. check out these results. After 15 minutes in the freezer, the temperature of the thermometer in the shortening changed very little, but the temperature of the thermometer in the cup changed very dramatically. Why did this happen? Let me tell you. You see, the shortening we used is kind of like the fat layer under the skin of seals. It acts as an insulator and helps prevent heat from the seal's warm inner body from escaping. The heat inside the shortening, like the heat from a seal's body, is lost over time. Food eaten by seals provides energy that continuously replaces the lost heat. That's why seals like Norton can withstand frigid temperatures.
Well, another show guaranteed to rock your brain. Oh, you know, I never told you how I get Malibu here to lay down. But I bet after watching the show, you can guess.
Positive reinforcement.
You got it. No paycheck, no report card, just kitty treats. And lots of love. Hey, until next week, keep that big brain of yours stewing, because you never know where we'll be. See ya. Plus, we'll witness more animal training. Oh! We're gonna learn all about, I don't know, what? Thank you, behavioral training. We're gonna learn all about, what are we learning about? Oh! Oh!
Bad Jennifer.
Come a little closer.
Stories of smart animals.
Whatever they are. I'm sure you have some.
Learn how seals are trained. Oh my God.
Wait a minute. I can do this.
People just, I mean, and even animals, they just always want to be on camera.
How about these stories of smart... How about if I just don't tell you what the animals are doing except the cats?
Step 2, place the other thermometer into the container of shortening.
I'm trying not to look at you or get near you.
I can do it.